Hello everyone. Welcome to today's video. This is Shanmugaraj. I'm continuing my efforts on producing useful videos in the areas of project management, agile and leadership. Today we are continuing a journey on safe implementation roadmap. We're going to talk about preparing for art launch. Very important steps in safe implementation. In earlier videos I talked about how to reach a tipping point and how to get into a powerful guiding coalition like training the change agents, training the leaders, charting the ways, right? And we also talked about how to identify the value streams and ops and how to create an implementation plan. The next step is preparing for art launch. There's a quote from Cotter that short-term wins will help build necessary momentum, right? So that is very important statement. If you want to build a momentum in your art, you need to gain a short-term wins. You need to get into a PA cadence, program increment cadence. There are a number of steps in preparing, a number of activities in preparing Agile Release Train for launching Agile Release Train. SAFE is recommending around 10 steps actually, or 10 activities. Defining the art, set the launch date, train art leaders, establish the agile teams, train product owners, train scrum masters, train system architects, assess and evolve launch readiness, and prepare the program backlog. So these are the nine or 10 steps or 10 activities in launching agile release trains. First step is defining an art. This particular picture gives an idea about how to create a canvas for art. It gives the details about that particular agile release train, which is part of a value stream that we picked. It talks about vision statement, who is the business owners, key customers, success measures, right? It also talk about development value stream and operation value stream supported, right? So basically, you need to understand in which development value stream this art is being planned, and this art is supporting which operation value stream. So that's very important to understand. There is a principal roles also. You can identify who is a product manager, who is a RT and system architect. So these are the very key information. So it's help you to identify further details or detailness of art itself. It gives a purpose, it gives the reason to launch and everything. The second activity is set the launch date and the program calendar. So you need to identify a date at which you are starting PA planning event, right? The first set of activity in the program calendar is PA planning, right? The safe big picture shows that 10-week PI, which consists of 4 regular iteration and 1 innovation and planning iteration. So there's no fixed rule for PA cadence. The recommended duration for PI is between 8 to 12 weeks with bias towards shorter duration, let's say 10 weeks. So once the cadence is chosen, it should remain stable and not arbitrarily change from one PI to another. This allows the art to have a predictable rhythm of velocity. So you need to assume that an art have multiple program increments, right? So every program increment will include a PA planning exercise, system demos, art sync, scrum of scrum, PO sync events, inspect and adopt workshop, right? The third activity is train the art leaders and stakeholders. Depending on the scope and timing of the rollout, there may be number of art leaders like release train engineer, product managers, and system architects. The stakeholders could be, business owners, managers, internal suppliers, operation, etc. Right? So this is kind of within the value stream, within the art. You need to identify your art leaders and your stakeholders, and you have to train them. You can use SPCs, give the training session. Right? It can be a 2 days of training, 1 day is on overview about safe, and next day is for workshop on implementations or something like that. The next step is organizing agile teams with team topologies. This having an art topology within the value stream, we already talked about it. There are four fundamental team types or art types you can use it. Stream aligned team, like right, so art organized around the flow of the work that directly delivers to the value to customers and end user. Complicated subsystem team, like organized around specific subsystems that require a deep specialty skills, like building a team for AI engine or you know robotic automation or something like that. And you can have art for platform team, you can have art for enable team. These are the different types of arts are organizing the agile teams. Within that, you can define it actually. The next step is forming the agile team. You can create a simple team roster like this with a role and team member team member name and geographic location. Right. So it's a simple information about to understand different team members and roles, available roles at their location. So once you identify your agile teams, next step is train our product owners and product managers, then train the scrum masters, train the system architects and engineers. So there are three groups of people you can have a focus group training for each role of agile teams. So once you give the training, then you can go for checking the readiness of art actually, right? How do I check the readiness of art is this is kind of a checklist. You can use it like planning, scope, and context. So the question is, have you identified our value streams and arts? Have you identified our release train engineer? Have you identified our PA planning dates and iteration cadence, RPA cadence? Did we identify our scrum masters, product owners, and other team members? Do we have a dedicated team members? Are they all team members present in person? Do we know who will set the business contact, business context? Do we have executive support and business owner participation? Do we have the business alignment? Right? Did we build a product vision and program backlog? So these are the readiness check actually. Right? Simple question is like, have you identified the top 10 or so features that are subject of the first PA? Simple as that. Another set of readiness checklist, like system team is identified or not. Have the shared services been identified, like DevOps, architecture, UX? Did we identify agile project management tooling? Is there any strategy for unit testing and test automation? Right. So these are the some of the readiness checklist. You can use it for understand the your readiness of launching art, The final activity is about planning the program backlog actually, right? So you can have series of activities planned according to your PA's plan, right? So in a periodic cadence, you can have backlog refinement, right? So you can have number of backlog refinements. So finally, the program backlog is getting ready. The cadence defined and socialized. It's very important. You put your calendar, PA calendar, and defined and socialized. Team composition, system composition. So this is kind of it's a program backlog planning actually. So this is the final activity in launching the art actually, right? So this how the if you look at that, these are the number of activities or steps involved in preparation of launching art actually, right? So hope you got fair idea about how do we launch art, within the value stream, right? Number of steps we discussed, right? So with that, we come to a conclusion of this particular video. Please share your comments in the comments. I would like to listen from you in terms of my improvement areas in my content as well as my delivery. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.